Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we are unpacking one of the most intriguing and controversial episodes in South Africa's political history, an episode that reveals deep layers of power struggles, secret negotiations, and leadership reshuffling during the nation's critical transition to democracy. Former President Jacob Zuma recently made some startling revelations about a covert trip he took with former President Thabo Mbeki to London in the early 1990s. This trip, Zuma says, was more than just a diplomatic meeting, it was a turning point in the African National Congress's internal leadership and in South Africa's liberation story. Zuma disclosed that both he and Mbeki were sent on this secret mission during a period when the ANC was deeply involved in negotiations with the apartheid regime and other political actors. At that time, Zuma served as the ANC's chief of intelligence, while Mbeki was the chief negotiator, a crucial role in the multi-party talks that would eventually lead to the end of apartheid and the establishment of a democratic South Africa. But what happened after their return was unexpected and, according to Zuma, troubling. He claims that both he and Mbeki were removed from their respective positions soon after coming back from London. Mosiuoa Lekota replaced Zuma as chief of intelligence, while Cyril Ramaphosa took over Mbeki's role as chief negotiator. This sudden replacement begs a lot of questions. Why were these two pivotal leaders sidelined at such a crucial moment? What really happened in London? Was this a routine leadership change, or was there something more strategic, more deliberate at play? And crucially, were external forces exerting pressure on the ANC to alter its leadership during this vital phase? Zuma's revelations point to the possibility of intense political maneuvering within the ANC, as well as pressure from outside the party. It is no secret that the early 1990s were a tumultuous time, with South Africa's political future hanging in the balance. The apartheid government was negotiating with liberation movements, but power dynamics were shifting rapidly. Different factions within the ANC were vying for influence, while foreign governments and intelligence agencies were watching closely and sometimes intervening behind the scenes. Zuma's comments raise a red flag about whether the democratic transition was influenced not only by South Africans but also by external players with their own agendas. The fact that he mentioned London as the location of this meeting hints at a diplomatic or intelligence connection that deserves further scrutiny. We should also remember that Cyril Ramaphosa, who took over from Mbeki as chief negotiator, later became one of South Africa's most prominent leaders, eventually becoming the country's president. This leadership change in the early 1990s, therefore, was a crucial moment not only for the ANC but for South Africa's future political landscape. Zuma's narrative adds complexity to how we understand the transition from apartheid to democracy. It challenges the often simplified story of unity and heroism and instead shines a light on the political battles and possibly covert interventions that shaped the new South Africa. These revelations are particularly significant given Zuma's complicated relationship with the ANC's current leadership. Over the years, Zuma's relationship with his successors has been marked by rivalry, accusations, and bitter political clashes. His disclosure about the London trip and subsequent sidelining could be seen as an attempt to explain his own political journey, while also raising uncomfortable questions about the ANC's leadership and decision-making processes. Political analysts have already begun to weigh in on what Zuma's statements mean for the ANC today. Some see it as a call to revisit the party's history critically and transparently. Others view it as a move by Zuma to reclaim some influence and reshape public opinion amidst ongoing factional battles within the ANC. Beyond internal party politics, this episode reminds all South Africans of the importance of understanding the full history behind their democracy. We must ask, how much do we really know about the power plays that occurred during the liberation struggle and the formation of our democratic institutions? How much of our political landscape today is still shaped by unresolved tensions from that period? Zuma's revelations also raise questions about leadership legitimacy, a topic still very much alive in South Africa's politics. When leadership transitions happen behind closed doors, under unclear circumstances, it can erode public trust. Transparency and accountability are vital if South Africa is to continue strengthening its democracy. Finally, these insights from Zuma encourage us to think about the personal and political sacrifices made by leaders during turbulent times. Leadership in liberation movements and political parties often involves navigating dangerous waters, dealing with internal factionalism, and sometimes being forced out for reasons beyond one's control. As we reflect on this story, it is clear that the history of South Africa's democratic transition is not just about institutions or formal agreements, it's about people, power, politics, and the hidden stories that shaped our nation. So, what do you think? How do Zuma's revelations change your understanding of South Africa's political past? What implications do they have for the ANC's future? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into South Africa's political history, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.